start with that, and then around we go.
Thank you, Isabel, for the warm introduction. And hello, everybody. My name is Jessica Angel. I'm a visual artist. I am kind of new to the blockchain space. I entered in late October last year. I was hired or commissioned this large-scale project that attempts to create visualizations and manifestations, physical manifestations of what happens in the blockchain. So I come from the physical side of the spectrum. It's really amazing to just learn from all this community. I'm so happy to be here. I'm like saying hi to everyone and hugging everyone like, I need a hug! It's really, really encouraging to be in this community. And if you guys are new here, I'm sure you're going to see how welcoming and rich and generous it is. So I'm actually really honored to be moderating this wonderful panel that has the coolest name in the world, which is trading Dank rares, which is like, all right, I think I kind of want to go with like word by word, even though these may seem like simple words. Trading has a lot of meaning, a lot of baggage, obviously, in the cryptocurrency space. And then I want to talk about dankness, which is like funky AF. Now, I want to talk about rares, too. So I think we have a beautiful panel together here. I also want to ask questions to the panel. I would like you guys to be really concise, really to the specific question. I know we all want to talk about our projects and go deep and talk about it, but let's just try and be concrete, okay? Because I also want to bring the audience in. So I'm going to ask the question, you guys are going to answer it, and then I'm going to give the opportunity to someone in the audience to contribute as if you were part of the panel too. Okay? So just raise your hands and I'll just pick someone. Does that sound like fun?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, let me get my nose here. Okay, so let's start with a brief introduction. Each one of you. Let's keep in mind trading, Dank, yeah, and rare. All right, so please.
Hello, everybody. How's it going tonight?
Woo.
Do I look dank or no?
I don't know. What is Dank?
I don't know. I have my top button up, so I feel like that's pretty dank. So yeah, I'm from CryptoKitties. I do marketing, so I'm trying to bring blockchain to the masses. And how I do that is with mostly dank memes via social media. So I'm an Instagram guru, and that's my main focus, creating YouTube videos, and that's how I'm trying to bring blockchain to the masses. So hopefully it's working. We'll see. You can check us out, CryptoKitties YouTube. There's the dank drop right there.
What's your name?
Evan Keast.
Evan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gil Gaspar, and I'm the art director of CryptoKitties. That means I designed the original kitties, and I'm the person that draw the fancy cats and all the fun stuff. And yeah, we're just trying to expand more CryptoKitties for more people to watch and have fun with it.
We got multiple mics. All right, so hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is John Crain. We're on a project called Super Rare. So not only are the pieces of art on the platform super rare, they're also super dank. So it's fun. Yeah, and so we built tools to help artists issue their own tokens, and on the platform, people can also trade the tokenization.
So we'll talk more about that.
Hello. Hi, my name is Yiying, and for those of you wondering why I'm here wearing a space thing,
because I'm trying to fit into the space. I know it's a bad pun. I'm here because I'm super interested in crypto and blockchain in general as an artist. I made this artwork called Lifting a Dreamer, which ended up becoming the Twitter farewell. For those of you millennials, I made actually 4 emojis on your phone, which is chopstick, dumpling, takeout box, and fortune cookie.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Rosenstein. I'm from the Archetype project. Really a pleasure to be here today. A lot of bright, smiling faces out there. Really quickly, Archetype lets anybody, any place on planet Earth, create dank rares, own their artwork, sell their artwork, destroy their artwork, trade their artwork, do whatever they want, and have fun doing it.
Hey, what's up? I'm Theo Goodman. My ICO is called Art123456788. You should buy it because of this ABC. I'm Theo Goodman, and I'm co-founder of the Rare Pepe Foundation. And I'm also responsible for Eggplant Pepe. I'm also responsible for Kaiser Pepe, which was featured on RT by Max Kaiser himself. So then you had multi-dimensional memes going on. So you had the card has Pepe and Max Kaiser on RT on it, and then they showed that card on RT.
What kind of meme is that?
Dank. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jeff. I am the community lead of AxiomZen. AxiomZen is a game on the Ethereum blockchain. Centered around fantasy creatures, breed them, battle them, collect them. And yeah, I got into the space through CryptoKitties. As one of the top CryptoKitty players in the world, actually bred some of the original, first ever discovered creations of Gila. So, you know, one of my heroes is up here with me. It's really surreal, actually. The space has been really interesting, really good to me, and super excited to hear what everyone has to say today.
Right. Thank you guys for the introductions. So I have pulled all your websites. Some of you have slides. If you can connect the computer to the screen, and then you just the whole screen. Is it possible? Okay. Let's just Okay. So this is what I want to do. Like an experience. I love the word dank. Sounds so dank. Like I really want to go deep into this word. First of all, to find out where it comes from. Second of all, I want each one of you to say a word describing what dank is. So my question is, what is dank with one word?
I'm pretty sure the word dank.
One word. Thank you.
I thought we were gonna.
Just one word. What is dank?
We're gonna do the definition first, and I'm pretty sure it's moist.
Okay, go ahead.
It means moist.
It means moist.
Yes.
Interesting.
But another word
in this context.
Another word for dank is interdimensional.
Interdimensional, moist.
And I'm an English native speaker, so I Google it, and it's humid.
Dank is epic.
Epic. Did you like that? Man. It's a feeling.
I was going to say multidimensional. You kind of stole me at interdimensional. So I'm going to go with abstract.
Abstract.
I'm going to take language for 1,000. So dank means thanks. And it is. No, that's okay. It's going to sound a little funny, but check this out. It's kind of weird. So English is a Germanic language. And dankuvel means thank you very much in Dutch. And danke means thank you in German. So it has the same in dank in English, of course. So what happened is the reason it's moist is because it came from slang weed. So before weed was now weed is really legal everywhere. Back in the days when it wasn't, a dank bud was a bud that was a little bit moist, probably because it was homegrown or I don't know why, but it was just a thing, a dank bud. Yeah, it happens to be green. Just and green is organic or whatever.
To me, when something is dank, that means that it is lit.
Lit. Awesome. So I feel great for being here because I get to ask people all the questions that I have. So it's like I am in the privileged position here. And then as an artist, getting into blockchain space, I think, oh yes, I really love the idea of tokenizing my art. I really love the idea of trading my art. I love the idea of making my work scarce, right? And then it seems like there are already platforms out there that provide artists the possibility to put their artwork out. So I wanna talk about that, and I wanna ask you guys a general question regarding these platforms as either layers over blockchains, because that's what they are. And why? My question is, tell me about your platform and tell me about why you chose to build on X, Y, or Z blockchain and what blockchain that is. Does that make sense? Okay.
That's a lot in one question.
In 2 words.
Wow. I'm going to talk about one platform. It's called Steemit. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys know about Steemit. So that's something that you obviously get paid for the art that you put out there. I think that's a great initiative. It's something that already exists out there, and that's something that I could see going a lot deeper and a lot further. Essentially, you want to see something like Patreon or YouTube or Instagram, things like that, where you get paid for the amount of social interaction that's happening with the art that you create. And I think Steemit is one of the best examples of that. And if we bring it back to, you want to bring it back to CryptoKitties and Ethereum, I think one of the greatest initiatives that I've seen is a platform like Kitty Hats. So they're building upon the CryptoKitties game, and there's people that are putting more images out there, and they're actually earning money off of the art that they're creating.
And CryptoKitties is built on top of Ethereum.
Ethereum network, that's right.
And why did you choose Ethereum?
Why did we choose Ethereum?
Do you know?
I don't know that.
Okay. You don't have to know.
I think they chose Ethereum.
I'm a marketer.
Okay, yes.
Ethereum allows the genetic data of all the CryptoKitties to be stored in a safe and transparent manner. Even if they decided to stop working on the game, anyone would be able to take the genetic data of the cats and create their own front end to display them.
Okay.
Yeah, what he said.
Sorry.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, go ahead. Whoever wants to talk about this, I think.
Yeah, you can have them talk about that. So.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so Super Rare is a platform. We let artists tokenize their own art and also list for sale. People can bid on it, people can trade it, and we're on top of the Ethereum platform. Our tokens are based on a standard called ERC 721, pioneered by the wonderful CryptoKitties team. This is a huge benefit to everybody in the ecosystem, I think.
Right.
And we chose it just because it's the easiest for everybody else to build on top of. I think the Kitty Hats is a good example. You can have these very interesting matchups. Standard API is really important when they allow for things like that. So we were excited to see, where this is going to go after, like what are we going to build on top.
You tokenized your work? Is it tokenized?
I'm about to now.
Okay. Are you flirting with any platforms yet? All right.
A lot of learning.
A lot of learning going around. All right. Anything else you want to say about that?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Cool, Jason.
Yeah, so at Archetype, we chose Ethereum for a lot of reasons. For instance, smart contract functionality. We linked it with IPFS for file storage, and that gives us this amazing immutable quality. It decentralizes everything as much as possible with current technology available. And as was said before, like CryptoKitties, it allows anyone to post content and interact with all the pieces that have been submitted. It's tokenized, of course.
So the smart contract is a big plus.
It's great.
It is great. Well, I want to hear what Theo has to say about that.
Sure. Yeah. I've just launched a new artwork card called Theo's. It's kind of like EOS, but it's better. It's called Theo's. So it's kind of like EOS, but better Theo's. And it uses the counterparty platform, which is on the Bitcoin blockchain, where you can create tokens. And that's also a smart contract. In order to create a token, you're essentially using the smart contract. And also, every token that's created on the counterparty platform can, of course, also be used on the decentralized exchange on the counterparty platform, which allows token-to-token trades right away from the get-go. So that's a really advantage of using that platform. Another reason to use the counterparty platform is that the tokens are human readable. So it's not just like 0, X, Y, 5, 3, 2, 2. I think that's the smart contract. I'm going to cut and paste from this website. Oh, it's right. Pray, press the button. It's a human readable. So if I want to buy Theo's, I type in THEOS. I don't have to type in X, Y, whatever the hell. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's right. So that is a big advantage to using that platform for artwork. And also, of course, Bitcoin has the most work and is the most immutable. So if you really want sovereign artwork, if I'm an artwork buyer, then I'm going to buy sovereign artwork that I know cannot be altered after I buy it. So then I would choose blockchain.
Yeah, so we decided to use Ethereum blockchain because, yeah, I mean, so MetaMask, which is the, I guess, like browser extension that interacts with Ethereum, has 1 million users already. So there's already a lot of infrastructure built around Ethereum. You know, obviously CryptoKitties has a bunch of users who are familiar with how to use a smart contract. So it just if you're building a DApp game, I think it makes the most sense to build where, you know, the, I guess, giants that we're building on top of have built before. So I think Ethereum is where it's at right now. You know, we'll maybe see some cool things out of EOS in the next year or so, but it really still is an Ethereum world out there, and you know, we'll see what happens. And you know, if another, well, I don't want to say anything about the future, but right now, like, Ethereum is the only option that makes sense.
Thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody in the audience want to say anything about these platforms? And oh, okay, back there, yes.
Looking into which platforms put on Ethereum stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Expensive to do what?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
To do what? To make it, what do you think, expensive for what?
For actually creating content, right? We're not trying to make money, I know that. We're trying to make experience, and so everybody that adds on is going to cost less money for the Ethereum blockchain, right? So what's an alternative?
Just like collect a bunch of stuff, make a cryptographic hash, and load it once a month on the blockchain.
All right, he knows all the hacks. Yeah.
I guess you guys can't like say it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Liquidity?
So as far as smart contracts are concerned, what, because I know Theo was talking about counterparty smart contracts, what can Ethereum do that Bitcoin or counterparty just cannot do at all? Like, what is so good about Ethereum smart contract versus what others do?
Words.
Reading.
Reading?
It's one word.
Yes.
So, Ethereum, so really was used to create smart contracts in Ethereum. Turing complete.
offering a lot of advantages. And I've done some development on Bitcoin and created, some smart contracts, but we're really very limited, and it ends up costing a lot more because you're limited to like 80 bytes per transaction. What they call it, it's called the offer term. It's kind of like hacked together to create the same sort of functionality that Ethereum already has.
Because we're saying solidity. I thought you were saying that it was liquid. I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's not, but it's not Solidity multi-sig. It's not Solidity.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
I think another reason that there's just a lot of developer adoption and documentation. I think the reason a lot of people are drawn to it in general is just the amount of documentation that's out there is a little bit easier to find and develop on.
It's like Etherscan also is like I think better than like their counterpart. I've never heard of it. So.
What's a Solidity? This is like a program now.
Yeah, it's the programming language that people use for it.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds provocative.
It sounds so important.
Okay, I have a question from the creative side. I am an artist and I want to put my Dank rare out, or I want to use your platforms in a creative way. And I see that each one of your projects deals with dankness and rareness and trading, but the interaction between the creative, say consumer, with your projects is different. There's like different layers to it. So for example, with CryptoKitties, I am a creative. How is a creative, as a creator or a creative, can I interact with the CryptoKitties, for example?
So I'm actually the community manager of Kitty Hats, the
Okay,
extension that they manage that's built on top of the Kitty Hats platform. And basically what we do is we sign exclusive deals with artists. They create the accessory, and then they get a revenue share of that accessory that is built into the smart contract when we launch the contract. So as soon as one of their accessories sells, it goes straight to the MetaMask wallet associated with those wallets. So really, I think the smart contracts make distribution and the logistics of awarding the artists much easier. And I think that has been really key.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Steve Cruz out of the house. So just as CryptoKitties can buy or earn or collect hats, they can also collect art from data. So it's a collaboration going on, which is pretty cool. That's a good point. Thanks. How about, for example, Yiying? Is that what you pronounce it?
Yes.
Yiying, smiling. So can we take a look at Yiying since it's the whale with the hearts? Yes. And Yiying has this image that's actually for sale tomorrow at the auction with the Codex Protocol at the Ethereum Summit. And yes, and this is like an icon that's been used and somehow appropriated by other artists who kind of have made different versions of it. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you mind if I come to you? Like, I'm just gonna, I gotta click.
No problem. Hi. So I wanted to kind of quickly show you all the amazing feedbacks from people from around the world, and it's really interesting to see amazing visual and real life interaction from people sort of working, getting inspiration from the work and kind of coming up with their own version of it in a real life. And it's pretty amazing. This is actually from a artist in Denmark. He's an actual spaceship designer in Lego, and he made it into like a public domain and sort of published it for everyone on the internet. And I was so happy to see things just around the world, from cakes to drinks. Gotta get some later. And my first time coming to New York was about 9 years ago. I had 7 of the farewell martini. It was amazing. Completely smashed.
How did it work?
I think I just, you know, allow the universe to make it happen. Right? You know, co-working with the universe. Yeah, so there was a farewell pale ale beer label contest. So it's like crazy to see amazing inspiration from people. Like it's, if you think about it as a creator, you don't necessarily see your work being kind of create in some way. Most of the time, if you see Michelangelo or Picasso, they have their work being exhibited in MoMA or wherever. My Australian accent came out. And then people kind of just like look at it, and you don't really get a chance to interact with your followers or fans, or I would like to say your audience. And it's pretty amazing to see people literally tweet it to me. This is an Adobe engineer on the right. And it was just really amazing. And this is like, the top one is from Canada, and the bottom one was, sorry, the top one from Japan, and the bottom one from the United States, but in different states. And the guy was from Adobe, and it's just amazing. There's somebody let us know much. And it was really interesting to see real life interaction. And this is actually me. I made that for Conan O'Brien. Because he's very pale, so he's the pale whale. But it was really interesting to see just like the collective creativity and energy coming from this single piece of artwork. But at the same time, as artists, I also kind of come through a lot of challenges. And the reason why that I think about blockchain about almost 10 years ago now is that I covered the people who actually publish it without my authorization. I actually protect them by not showing their shop. So anyway, I saw like a lot of, so just like the lady who was talking about law previously, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but it was really amazing that she said that as a creative, sorry? Cynthia. So Cynthia was saying that as a creative, you shouldn't spend your time track down the copyright infringement. You should be creating. Because this is your calling. This is not your job, not your career, but that's your calling as a creative. And it's really hard for me because you just see over time that people kind of just make profits without your permission. And this is one of the things, and I love how it's called the frail whale. There's also soaps as well, it's pretty amazing. And just to see the creative, but it's interesting to me. I was starting to see what is the line blurring from not-for-profit and commercialization. And I was thinking, it would be so great if we actually can have this piece of technology that embedded in the art, and it can trace back every single time that the art is used for different purposes. I'm going to have to stop you right there for a second. Please do. And I am asking you this question. I want you to share this because I want to tie it in with the rare Pepe. Yeah. And I want to talk about how the creative force can like take over some image or the platform and create different variations. Yeah. So do you mind maybe showing the rare Pepes? And maybe I see your whale turning into some sort of form that could, I want to share the appropriated real life rare art, but later on when you have time. Oh yeah, please do. Thanks. Okay, excellent. So I know that Theo has to do with the Rare Pepe Foundation. And then I want to hear your thoughts on what is it about this frog? Like maybe after seeing Yiying's work, somebody it's kind of like the same sort of situation. Yeah. Tell us about that and tell us about the creation of the Pepe Foundation. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because it's funny, that's why.
That's right.
Yeah, I will talk about that. I have these other questions or things that I'm going to forget otherwise, but I will ask. So the question is, I think the whale is kind of like a frog in a way. It's an animal.
It's the phenomena that I was talking about.
It's the phenomena. So for the frog, the one reason, and maybe that's the reason for the whale, why it worked, but we don't know. Well, there's one reason the whale works is because it's a whale, but a whale means somebody with a lot of something. So if I'm a Bitcoin whale, I have a lot of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Or if I'm an Apple whale, I've got a bunch of Apple shares. You know what I mean? So, or a kitty whale, right? So that's like some weird interbreeding. We're not going to talk about that here. So, multi-species interbreeding. So, yeah, we're getting into breeding, so 18 above. So the frog happens to be way before Rare Pepe. It happens to be not only a frog, but it just happens to be that there is an Egyptian god called Kek, and that is a frog. And it happens to also be a similar one in China and a bunch of other countries too. And it always has something to do with the unknown. I mean, some people say it's evil, but it's not evil. It's kind of like the unknown factor or the darkness, but the unknown darkness. Maybe it's the unknown truth. You don't know. Yeah. But for some reason, what now? Face the truth.
You may speak now.
Oh, wow. Now we're getting political. So that's fine. So somebody went full hardcore, that's fine. So basically, it's just like 18 over, right? So basically, it's like this. Everything, blockchain is a tool, and a whale or a frog or whatever could be a tool also. What?
Or a kitty.
Or a kitty. Or a kitty. We don't know. We don't know. So anybody can use something that's already catching on to their own needs, and nobody can prevent that. So that's just it. I mean, I think with the Rare Pepe Foundation, I mean, I can't speak. Joe has a Rare Pepe wallet, but it was kind of simple discussion. It's like, okay, look, we're going to host a website with these images on it. We don't want it to be A, B, C. That's the limit. You know what I mean? So there's a certain limit to it, and it's also a curation thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to have a project, an art project, it's a very important question, because especially with the decentralized thing. So where do you draw the line? Are you going to allow Nazi stuff, Nazi whales? Are you going to allow CryptoKitty breeding with Nazi frogs? I don't know. Maybe somebody makes Nazi frogs on Ethereum, and it's like the biggest hit ever, and they make a bunch of money, and they're breeding with the CryptoKitties. We don't know, but you can't stop that. And so, but my question was, since I have the mic power, what at some point is like, so not all smart contracts are created equal. So some of them can have a message sent to them freeze, and even though it doesn't change the ownership of whatever tokens or whatever, it has implications. No, but it has implications on a game, for example, or it has implications on other things. If I'm a buyer of artwork, let's say I'm some guy got millions, hodl game, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hodl game some like kitties and whatever, but it's like then the CFTC, the SEC says, hey, freeze that contract, done, So it's like, what implications does that have as a collectible or as an artwork if the game is done? So I have to. It's okay if that is an issue, but it just needs to be clear, because if this stuff really takes off and really is worth a lot of money, then people are going to be thinking about that. Is that what I call real sovereign artwork, where I own it? Or is that something where the third party really still has an effect on it? And I don't know what's going to happen.
Anybody from the audience want to? Yes.
Is this more about ownership or monetization?
What do you mean by this? The rare collectibles?
In this conversation, let's explain the stronger thread is more about dominoes and.
So the stronger thread for this conversation is rares, it is dampness, and it is trading. So I think maybe we should move up to trading. And ownership.
So this conversation, we wanted to do ownership.
Yeah, let's talk about ownership.
That's definitely an issue.
Yeah, go.
They're interrelated. I don't know. Anyone else can say something too. I don't know. I don't think there's a big separation, because if I want to buy it, I want to do it if I really own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like the core idea and the reason that this stuff is potentially important is that if you as a person, a random person, me in my whatever cave, can own a CryptoKitty, and everyone in a certain game knows that, acknowledges that, and recognizes that because because of some data on the smart contract, why can't that exact same principle apply to a peasant in Brazil who doesn't know whether he owns his own land that he allegedly owns? And stuff like that is why stuff would be important to people who don't necessarily care about it in the law.
I saw some answers. Yes?
By the way, I just need to show that you it's like an appreciation thing, or like people expect an error and it's pleasure, and there's
Yeah.
1,000 things to scale. So I guess the appreciation thing with Pepe is a participation thing, because there's a community of people who are like, we love these things, and it's a cool one, we appreciate you participate in like the bar for like entry of creating a little bit better. And that's what's kind of like think about it, like just see the and that's how you get let it go. If you come anyone in this room to buy me work that if they want it, if they try. I think that's part of it too. Yes. And they were trading before blockchain. That was part of it. Like there was this whole concept like it's rare. It can be rare. Don't show me.
Yes.
And then the blockchain allowed you like literally rare. And that's like the game changer.
Can you talk a little bit about user submissions and how that process works on the Rare Pepe directory and on the platform?
What's
anymore, it's done.
Yes.
So it was, how about this? It was simple, it's 100% subjective, and it's also 100% technical. So you have to meet technical requirements 1, 2, 3. So a certain amount of tokens, the token is frozen, et cetera, et cetera. The artwork is, and then there was a curator voting process, so among different curators, and everyone had their independent vote, and also discussion, and then, yeah, it was 100, but it was also subjective. But of course, edginess played a part of it sometimes, or ugliness, or dankness, or whatever else.
So I can't submit a Rare Pepe anymore. But
Not with art,
can.
not with us. So
Exactly, that's where I want to get.
Yeah.
So I can create my own Pepe, but I can still tokenize it. I can put it in the blockchain, let's say with Archetype. Would you take my Rare Pepe?
I wouldn't.
No, Archetype, I'm sorry.
Archetype would.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's talk about Archetype. I love this project.
This is the big difference. I love Archetype would not exist without the Rare Pepe. So when the guys and I were getting together to talk about, how can we take this concept of creating a meme, letting any artist worldwide tokenize their creation, we said, let's just give it to everybody for free, right? So with Archetype, you can tokenize any digital art. You can tokenize anything, really. And if there's somebody out there who's willing to buy it, they can. And there's someone out there who's not willing to buy it, they don't have to buy it. So in the case with the whole Nazi thing, and we can get on to what sort of bad things can happen.
Right.
It's a content aggregation platform where it can be downloaded so that you don't see it ever again. Just like in Reddit, I mean, there's things that go in Reddit that's very negative and it gets downloaded out of existence.
So immutability is not a word in Archetype?
It's a word and it's 100% immutable. We're using IPFS, which is the Interplanetary Browsers. Crazy name, I don't even know why they chose that.
Okay, cool. But you can't take it down. There's a curator, there's a curatorial sort of
There's absolutely no curation outside of what the community does. So it's moderated by the community itself. So we don't have to, of course, store that image on our IPFS server.
Right.
But anybody can if they like.
All right. So is Archetype up and running? I can just go ahead and use it today?
So we have one test going right now. It's called the MGE, which stands for the Meme Generation Engine. So the big thing about Archetype is we've totally kind of obfuscated a lot of the blockchain technology and made it kind of a 3-click functionality where you can drag and drop your meme or your digital art. You can type in all the information for your new token, and you can send it right to your address. Soon to be, you can choose a username and send it right to your username. Currently, we just finished the iPhone application, so you can store your digital art right in your pocket if you like and trade with your friends.
Thank you. John, I want to hear a little bit more about Super Rare and Pixura. So as John was saying saying before, Pixura has kind of provides the service of creating platforms. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So
Okay.
Pixura is basically a 721 API provider. So if you want to build your own, Ethereum Rare Pepe collectible platform, you can.
This is great because I talk to artists who want to get their work tokenized, or they want to get it in the blockchain space, they want to trade, but sometimes they feel that by uploading their work on X, Y, or Z platform, for some reason, the work gets aligned to another sort of image or another sort of brand, which already kind of puts the work in a second layer, a hierarchical system or something like that.
Yeah, the branding is really important, and that's feedback we get very often. It's like, that's cool. Maybe I don't like the other stuff that you have out there. What can I do if I just want to have only my own work? Maybe they want to curate their own artwork. So that was the idea behind it. So probably everybody doesn't want,
Are you getting a lot of requests? Are people like really wanting to create these other platforms, really trying to be independent?
Yeah, there's a pretty reasonable amount of interest
Yeah,
in kind of having your own storefront that's totally branded and unrelated to everything else that's going on.
Right, thank you. So, okay, I want to bring the conversation now to trading, and I think this is really fun because
Here's a question.
oh, I'm so sorry. I missed that one. You.
Okay, so I came in a little bit late and I wasn't in the
So yeah, we're gonna have some information coming out soon. Early on, we 2 weeks exactly. So we have proposed the concept of the IBO, and this stands for the initial burn offering. So we're not taking any money for the project. We hope that people will burn their cryptocurrency, one of 12 cryptocurrencies, to receive the Archetype token.
Explain what burning is.
Oh, right, sorry. So, fire. So, burning in cryptocurrency is a term, actually, I think it must have been Counterparty that set the precedent for burning. And the way Counterparty worked and the way the token was distributed way in the early days was that people would take their Bitcoin and send it to an address that the funds could not be received from. So the Bitcoins were gone forever, and in its place, literally out of the ashes like a phoenix came the Counterparty token.
Wow.
It's the rules.
It's the rules. And it's really about like the transmutation of value. So the concept is, let's say $1 million is burned. Well, instantly, economically, you have $1 million worth of the new token. And it's not a cash grab, because a lot of ICOs these days are big cash grabs where people can really have their cake and eat it too, where they get the money, and then they get the money from the tokens, and there's perverse incentives, and we're trying to do it what we believe is the right and most fair method of distributing a token.
Anybody else before
I have a question.
Into trading?
I have a question actually from the internet. Since I've been managing the live stream over here, we got two wonderful folks here. We have Nathan Jansen and Chuck Fresco, who are big Axie fans.
Let's go.
And they have following questions. Okay, the questions are these. Okay. I want to ask, so this is Nathan. I want to ask why these collectibles have value in the first place. And Chuck asks, yeah, I've been hearing about CryptoKitties and Axies, but I really want to hear the difference. Seems like they are the two projects you hear in DApp Gaming. Hopefully, I can get a question through, and they did. There we go.
So I guess who do they want to answer this question? I'll go for I guess I'll go first. So I guess Nathan's question was related to why people deem crypto collectibles useful. Is that true? Or valuable? So I think that value in the crypto gaming / crypto collectible space is a function of scarcity, utility, and aesthetics. And it's hard to tell which one takes most precedence, but I've learned a lot from studying the data for CryptoKitties, also the data from Axie Infinity, and it seems like things that are rare and beautiful sell for a decent amount in those games. But most importantly, I think, is also this idea of utility. So for example, in CryptoKitties, the only cats that really sell for more than the breeding fee, or most of the cats that sell for more than the breeding fee are the certain cats that have very powerful genes. So those cats are useful in producing strong offspring, right? In Axie Infinity, a lot of the Axies that are that have a lot of value are ones that people think will be really good in the battle system when that is eventually released, right? And I think right up here you see that some of these Axies have really rare body parts. We had a pre-sale, and certain body parts were retired immediately after the pre-sale ended, so they will never be available again. No one outside of the pre-sale, unless they win a contest or a special promotion, will be able to get those body parts, and those are the ones that are selling for good Ethereum prices. I think like the floor for the Mystic Axies is around 0.8 right now. I'm not sure, I haven't checked the market, I've been here. But so there is, I think it really is a function of scarcity and utility. And obviously the more popular a game is, the more people in the community, the more people that you can show off to, the more that these things will have value. I think it's a similar thing probably with rare Pepes. Like the more people find rare Pepes interesting and fun, the more the value should theoretically be, and the bigger the community, and the more people that can show them off. I think, yes, I think that's like the scarcity and the value part of it. And then the second question, just like about the distinctions between the two games, I don't know if it's necessarily relevant. Like I think we have a battle system. We really tried to build on the ideas of CryptoKitties. We were all CryptoKitty players. And we saw certain things with the game that we wish would be better, and we built a game that we thought solved some of those problems. But I think that that's very similar to how Ethereum worked with Bitcoin, right? I think that CryptoKitties will always be the Bitcoin of the DApp gaming space, and I think that Axie Infinity will be the Ethereum of the DApp gaming space. And I think that's a very good situation for us to both be in. So,
yeah, I have a question for the CryptoKitties guys. So when you start getting into the whole like blockchain or thing, your CryptoKitties, I don't know what that means. You guys have 10,000 users a month, or you have 1 million users an hour. I don't know whether it means that you guys have made $100 million in a year or $1,000 over 2 years. I mean, tell us a little bit about what makes CryptoKitties on the tip of everybody's tongue when they talk about trading on the left.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, CryptoKitties obviously was one of the first real coming of ages for the applications of the blockchain. So I think first to the market is obviously one of the big things that really put us in the spotlight. I also miss out on our slides that we presented, and maybe we can showcase a little bit of the digital scarcity to show you a little bit about why CryptoKitties are valuable and what it's all about. So we actually took one of our exclusive kitties, which have notoriously gone for quite a bit of money, and that's obviously very subjective, and that's a value that people have put on them.
But what is that? What is that bid? Like $7?
Those cats are going for $1.50. So what's
so
that's 0.019.
Yeah, no, we brought down actually an exclusive cat. We do have photos of it. We should be able to bring it up.
Kitties are sold for $1,000. For the entire budget, like $1,000.
Yeah, but that was all in December again.
Yes,
I sold my cats for $10,000.
Yeah, so for example, about 2 weeks ago, one of the cats that's an exclusive sold for 20 Ethereum. Right now, I don't have the exact number, so I'm sure something can bring it up.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about trading. Somebody was saying that we don't do this because we want money, but there's money involved. We're in the cryptocurrency space. Let's talk about money here, okay? Do we want money? Do we not want it?
I'm gonna talk about money, but I'm not gonna talk about crypto because this was my first IPO, which is initial painting offering, which is yeah, I know it's funny. Do you mind? Do you mind? Thank you. As I said, it's kind of fun. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna quickly just quickly show how do I care about blockchain. Oh, 1 minute. Okay. So this is a quick example to show my initial IPO, which is initial painting offering. These amazing female founders of an event called Yes and Yes Yes. They approached me about 4 years ago and said, hey, we would love to have you design a logo and also a piece of artwork for our new conference in Palm Springs. And we don't have money to pay you, but we would love to help you to, promote you or anything you want us to do to help you as an artist. And normally artists, I gotta say, artists, you gotta take care of yourself. But to me, this is a really interesting way of investing my time and skill onto something. So I thought, well, if they don't have money to pay me, but there will be 400 or 500 people will show up. So why don't I just tokenize this? I'm just gonna use that word to sound cool. And I make these into prints. I make 50 sign-in number prints because I feel like I've only got so many years to live as a person.
And how are you pricing these?
And I'm pricing these as $100 each, and it's 50 of them. And so basically the proceeds is cover my flights and also hotel costs. And the beautiful thing is it was sold out on day one. And basically I covered all my hotel and also flight, and I have the rest of the proceeds donate to the real world whales. So that was how I basically tokenized it as a real life print. And it's very straightforward, but I'm sure this is going to be more interesting if it's actually a digital thing. So it's an explanation right there without crypto. Thank you.
So yes, I want to talk about the different platforms that you all provide, and then I want to trade, and there's a scarcity, and I only have one copy of my image. What happens if I have the same image in both platforms?
Yeah, it's a good question. We get this a lot. And I think it's sort of up to the artist and your relationship with your fans that we were talking a lot about for reputation and what that means. And so that's sort of a relationship that you maintain with you and your fan. If you're somebody famous like Damien Hirst, you can sell your $12 million shark, and then you can make another one, and you can sell that one for $6 million. And that's sort of up to you to maintain that relationship.
And I want to talk a little bit about the pricing of the rares that we're talking about here. Do they just come organically because offer and demand, or do you guys have any sort of input, even from the beginning, to decide what the pricing for these pieces is, or it's just up to the artist?
So for Archetype, it's solely up to the artist. If an individual wanted to issue out 100 of small prints of digital art, they can do so and put them online for $1 a piece. And then from there, it's pure market reactions, right? And exactly to your point, bids and asks start to fill the marketplace up, and the pricing really goes up.
How about the CryptoKitties? What is the most expensive, the highest bid on a CryptoKitty?
The highest seller ever?
Yes.
Or, I think it was about $150,000.
$150,000.
Yes.
Okay. How does that money be? Who gets the money?
Who gets the money?
Yeah.
Is it the U.S. Treasury?
No, so when that gets bought, we take a 3.75% transaction fee. But the way that the CryptoKitties auctions work for the exclusives is it starts at the set price and it just starts on a sliding scale. So the market chooses how much they want to spend at that point. So eventually it can run down to, let's say, 5 Ethereum.
You can run it, let's do like make it all. You can basically set a Dutch auction which descends to 0, but the seller can always decide when to cancel the auction.
Because I mean, you know, maybe not for CryptoKitties so much, but for artists who could artwork in their own rare Pepe or Archetype or super rare or Pixura projects. I know Data, for example, have a whole system for rewarding artists. Can you tell me a little bit if you're working in any way to create either a smart contract or something that involves the artist in the second market?
Sure. So yeah, we were definitely inspired by the Data model. We were, you know, that was pretty cool to kind of have royalties built in. You saw it earlier. They tried to do that with.
You guys are doing it. How about Archetype?
Yes, so we made it very simple. If you own the piece, you get 100% of the proceeds. The good is not distributed to anybody else.
But I think what she's asking about is like subsequent transactions, right? Like, does the artist get transactions for the life of the product,
right?
Or the life of the piece?
Yeah.
And in the case of Archetype, if you hold the piece, you stand to gain 100%. So if you're the artist, and I bought your piece, and I sold your piece for, let's say, 50% more, I would still hold all the proceeds.
All right.
I mean, with counterparty, there's with counterparty, there of course there's no secondary market thing built in. I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad to have that. I mean, you could do it if you want. There's definitely, you know, something to say for it or not, and maybe it fits to one platform and that style or what they're doing or not. But with tokens and cryptographic cryptocurrency.
Yeah, you have 10 seconds, I'm sorry.
10 seconds. Okay, if your CryptoKitty thing or whatever the hell it is you're selling me, it has I have to pay 20% fee because it's on the secondary market, then I can just do an OTC transaction with you and say, give me the private key, and then we avoid 20%, I'll give you a 10% kickback, and then bam, we do it. I can support it ideologically because I like the artist, or I can just say, fuck you, because we're out of money.
Okay, attention everybody, our time is up, but I want to invite you all to join our Telegram channel where this conversation will continue. You can go to @CryptoArtProject. It's called Art Project Decentralized, and most of these folks are there, and who are here are there, and we can keep talking about this forever, and let's build together. This is amazing, this is beautiful, and it's really exciting. Thank you so much, okay? You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, panel. So as I mentioned before, we did not build in any wiggle room. Quickly to the front. Dennis Adamo from Celestial Tech is going to be moderating a panel with DJ Pepe, J-Scrilla, Ventura. Let's hear it for Jeff. Where are you, Jeff? Jeff, come to the front. Casey Pearl talking on the panel and then performing. Tatiana Moroz, Jonathan Mann, and G from SingularDTV. Guys, sit right down. There's no time for chatting. No, we don't want to let people. What? I don't think Scott's at the controls.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the guys, we're on a tight schedule. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about music.
So this is the tokenization of music and art. you know, when we talk about tokenizing something, really about transferring a part of an idea, or a digital media, or a digital unit, or a virtual artifact into a million little pieces, and actually 18 decimals of little pieces that we can use to, again, distribute something to someone.
Hey guys, everybody over there, please be quiet. Thank you.
Save it for the cocktail party. Anyway, guys, I'm Adamo. I'm with Celestial Technologies, and we have a fantastic and super talented panel today. Starting from Jim, who I didn't see on the list, but hey, Jim's new. Great, Jim. Jim, give us a one-liner.
Costume Jim from Costume Cult. We are throwing the after party called Cryptopia, where we are launching a cult coin and learning a little bit about how to do this from all of you. We're mostly doing it farcically, but there may be a real punchline if I can learn enough from this conference.
Thank you. Next.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Mann. I have been writing a song a day for the last 3,423 days. Thank you. I hold the Guinness World Record for most consecutive days writing a song, which is the thing that didn't exist before I did it. If you stick around later, all of us are gonna. Are you performing too? Yeah. Not you. Most of us are performing tonight, so please stick around to hear us play. If you want to be, I don't know yet. I haven't done my song yet today, number 3,424. So I'm thinking about involving all of you in that song. So if you want to be involved in a world record, let's do it. Here we go.
Hi everybody, my name is Tatiana Moroz. I'm a singer-songwriter. In 2014, using Calendar Party, we made the world's first artist cryptocurrency. We've made a subsequent platform which the legal team has advised us would get us thrown in jail, so we're waiting to figure out another opportunity. I also have a marketing company, Crypto Media Hub, and a podcast, The Tatiana Show.
Hi, I'm DJ J-Scrilla. I've been making a beat a day for the last 10,000 days. I'm official world record. I am a Guinness here. I like to joke around. I have a podcast called Art on the Blockchain. We talk. Me and Cynthia Gage, who spoke earlier, she's keeps me in check, and she's a lawyer. And we talk to all the people in this group pretty much. And check it out on the blockchain. Art on the blockchain. We talk crypto art, crypto music, and I also manage the world's most alpha meme, DJ Pepe. DJ Pepe is stuck in Manhattan right now, by the way. He will probably show up at Ethereal if y'all are there to see him.
Thank you. My name is G. Thomas Esmay. I'm in business development at SingularDTV, which is a blockchain entertainment studio, meaning that we are producing original content, film, television, and music. And we are also providing the technology so that anyone around the world can use our applications and distribute, collect royalties for their artwork on the blockchain.
All right.
Hi, I'm Casey Pearl, and I am a musician and a singer. I think I've come up with the genre. I think I found it. I think it's alternative singer-songwriter. I've worked it out. And I used SingularDTV's token platform to create the Pearl token, which I launched. And so now, via that, I've got the funds to produce and create music and music videos and so on, which I'm going to be putting on Deep Visions, which is the entertainment platform via SingularDTV. And that's going to be coming soon.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm really honored to have such a deep crew up here. And you know, I think there's a couple of things that come to mind. You know, music's important because it's definitely the deep ubiquitous form of media, I think, still. Maybe photos are catching up or something, but music is still probably the widest consumed product. Now, how do you guys see the future of like taking existing music and tokenizing it? Is there an opportunity there, or are we just talking about going forward with this whole movement? Anybody?
I'm happy to take this.
Oh, great.
I think it perhaps bears a little bit of explanation what we mean when we talk about tokenization. And it's quite simple. It's creating a smart contract system that will manage your revenue stream, essentially. This is potentially revolutionary for the music industry because as it exists today, money from the consumer goes into this black box that's collected by platforms, the iTunes and Spotify's of the world, and then is funneled through all these gatekeepers and intermediaries, and then spits out pennies on the other side, which goes to the artist. So with blockchain and tokenization, we have the opportunity to make it transparent and mathematical, where we can put the artists back in the center of control, where they belong, and manage the percentage of their revenue stream, use tokens to allocate who gets what percentage as they see fit, not in accordance with some industry standards or some contracts they were forced to sign, but actual math and transparent acting.
Great. No, I definitely want to hear your perspective.
So I think about tokenization of music from a slightly different angle. The thing that excites me a lot is, so like you can buy a CryptoKitty, right? As we've been talking about, you can own a CryptoKitty. Platforms like Archetype will allow you to tokenize a song or a video or anything in the same way, so that then there can be this one original copy of that song that someone can then buy in the same, that will own in the same way that they own a CryptoKitty or CryptoPunk or another piece of visual art. Okay. And what that means, I mean, the topic of ownership keeps coming up. No one quite knows what that means. And it's a little difficult with music because it gets even more, it's one step even abstracted. It's simpler to understand owning a piece of visual art, I think, than it is to understand owning a song in this way. But I think it's doable, and that's what really excites me.
I'm interested in a little bit of what he's talking about, a little bit of what he's talking about, but I like the access to the future. I collect rare everything since I was a kid. And so now to move to the digital world, you know, it's the ability, for instance, DJ Pepe, which, by the way, DJ Pepe is in the motherfucking house. DJ Pepe has an exclusive playlist that me and Joe Looney right here created with the rare Pepe wallets. You have to own the token. There's only 169 of them ever made. It's locked on the counterparty platform. And if you don't own it, you cannot hear DJ Pepe's playlist. So if you're a hacker or something, you might figure out some ways to do some stuff. But the average consumer is not going to be able to, you know, kind of like when I DJ and I want to get some MP3s or something, like I was trying to get God's Plan a little while ago off the internet, right? It's fucking impossible to get. Even if you have like the offline MP3 YouTube converter shit, like it has stuff in there to stop it, right? Watermarks. Right. But I could put it in my Pro Tools and record it no matter what and have it. So, but it would take me a half an hour to do that. You know, if I'm putting it like the DJ said, is it worth the time to get like 3 songs for an hour? You know what I mean?
So hold on. But how did you get that done, and how's sales going?
I give away a lot of DJ Pepes, mostly to the ladies, because the ladies enjoy DJ Pepes. When you're an alpha meme, you don't really partake with the males. You're around the females. But there's only 169 of them, and the last 2 numbers mean something in that equation.
All right. Yes, sir, Casey, how are your sales, and how do you find this new marketplace?
Well, I'm just starting off now with getting ready for releasing and distributing my music and music videos and any like video recordings of live shows, which I think is quite an important one because the the blockchain is international, so that means that if I'm not in your town, like, I'm going to put like recordings of videos so that people who follow me in Australia can get that experience. But I'm going to, the way, in terms of the ownership, I made them and they're mine, but I'm sharing part of my I'm sharing that ownership of my intellectual property via my tokens, and because of the way I'm distributing them. So I'm going to put my music via Retrovision, and that's going to be the only place you can get it. So that's the only place you can get the music. So when people if people want to buy my music or listen or watch or get the shows, then whoever does that, when they do that, any revenue that comes from that gets distributed on the tokens. And so it's shared with whoever's bought my tokens and holds them, or whoever I've given them to. That's me, they supported me, and so they get forever and ever and ever, as long as they hold those, as long as, so I'm not going to be putting them on any other distribution platform. So like you're saying about, it's the only place you can get it, the ownership comes from, and the connection with the tokens comes from the fact that it's accessed via Ethervision. So, and that is that's connected to the smart contract, which means it automatically shares whatever revenue comes in.
So in that contract, is there a minimum, maximum? Is there something that gives you the total value of a piece of art or the song that you made?
It's not related to the individual song. Like the songs, I've put them up there. They're mine. I'm gonna look down the copyright of them. They'll have my name, and anyone I collaborate with would be on there as well. And so the people who own the tokens, it's not like they own like a set song and they can come and say, give me that piece and you can't, I don't want you to perform it. I've got like this many codes because you can't perform the song, or you've got to do this, you've got to do that. That's the nice thing about it. The tokens are coming, people buy the tokens to support you to be able to produce things. But instead of like with crowdfunding, which is awesome, where they're giving you funds to do something they want to see you be able to achieve, the people that have bought the tokens and hold those, if anything good comes from it, then they're there as well.
That's where I want to ask Tatiana, as the pioneer in this opportunity since 2014. You've been working on this. How is it going for you, and what do you see as the upside of this whole?
Well, it's a slog, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
Okay.
I had no concept of what to expect with tech. I thought you make a coin, and then boom, everybody's just messaging you. Because for me, the main component was removing the middleman and wanting to, with the Kickstarter campaign, that's great. But at the end of the day, you get your $50, you get your T-shirt, and then that's the end of the relationship. And I've been building up relationships using Friendster, MySpace, and YouTube, and Facebook. And by the time that you get to Facebook, you're like, oh, I don't know my relationship at all. So with the artist coin, the way that
Facebook owns the relationship.
Right, exactly, and they are censoring your communication, and they, basically you don't own anything. Right. And so what I wanted to do is put hands back in the ownership of the artist and the fans in order, and like for me, obviously I do like a lot of political music, and I found that there's a lot of really bad music on the radio, and I haven't heard a single anti-war song in 20 years on the radio, and what, all artists like war? I'm sorry, but last I checked, they don't. So I think that there's an incentive problem within the music industry itself, and by offering communities and artists connect, you sort of give them an alternative.
Interesting. So that's a way to do some outreach or just alternative kind of culture expansion.
Yeah, it's basically building out your tribe.
It's almost like an alternative universe, these old songs. Okay, how do you, and then how are you guys doing in terms of your tokenization? Are you doing anything with crypto?
So we're I'm involved in a slightly different spin on the art world. Rather than being an artist looking for tokenization of an art product, we're a large arts collective that's constantly volunteering, and we're basically a decentralized arts collective since 2001. We're New York's biggest Burning Man camp, and we've been figuring out how to integrate.
Right, but the Saurians, New York's biggest.
Not been around. Ongoing. I'm a big fan of the Saurian. In fact, Black and light bulb, the party that we have on Saturday is a partnership with the Saurians until they stop doing parties in Europe. So anyway, brother-sister relationship. And bottom line is we're trying to figure out how to tokenize perhaps the volunteerism aspect or skills trading. And we are decentralized. I've been involved with open source since I was at LimeWire in 2009. And we're just trying to figure out how to make it work more so than just the farcical joke that we're going to have with CultCoin on Saturday night. So a little bit of learning here and deferring to the maybe perhaps real artists on the panel.
And use code CreativeTech for 20% off.
People, so that you as an artist can build an organic and equitable relationship that's simply between you and your fans, direct and peer-to-peer.
Great. Now the singular token market cap is somewhere around 100 million now, or is it higher? Or 300 million? I forgot.
It fluctuates a lot.
Fluctuates, but these sub tokens that you're creating, are they also trading in markets on exchanges?
They can.
Because I know you have an exchange as well.
We do. We have a decentralized exchange platform, which is important for us because with centralized exchange platforms, much like banks, you don't actually own the funds that you put in there. You just trust that the institution or exchange is going to give you your funds back when you request them. With a decentralized exchange, it's all handled via smart contracts again. So when you put the funds in, you're not trusting another person to release the funds to you. You're just clicking a button and a computer is set.
So in essence, you have a turnkey solution for the art community that's enabling everybody to participate in this marketplace. And what's the cost of entry? How do people get in? I mean, you must have hundreds of thousands of applications for stuff.
I mean, what we're doing is decentralized, so we're not prohibiting anyone from joining our community. All you really need to do is figure out how to get some crypto, head over to Token, download a SingularDTV light wallet that you send some ETH to, and then you can tokenize yourself on Token for a pretty small fee.
Sure, great.
I have a question. How do you mitigate people from, let's say I want to make like TerraCoin, you know, and I just want to like write really evil music all the time. Like, how do you prevent that? And then people are raising money for something that, you know, starts to look a little bit different than just a music project.
Sure. I want to add a question to that related, which is, do you do any, what's the kind of curation that you do, even beyond that, just in terms of surfacing projects do you guys surface projects you like?
Right. I think it is important to us that we keep it as decentralized as possible. When you take a look at even things like Wikipedia, they've done a great job of policing themselves, basically, and people do interact with basically good intentions. We understand your concern, though.
Looks like a security a little bit.
That's why we can't stop anyone from creating a token because they're just interacting with a smart contract. But we can stop them from sort of publicizing a token launch. So if they are in fact raising funds for TerraCoin or something like that, we prevent them from advertising it.
But when they've already created it, so even if they advertise, like, would that still allow them to do something bad?
No, if they've created just an entry on the blockchain that says TerraCoin, and there are no funds going there, then there's no harm done.
Do the funds only come through the platform?
The funds do come through the platform.
Oh, okay, only though, exclusively through the platform.
Yes, yes.
So guys, as decentralized musicians and artists, how do you feel the competition will be or is between the status quo, Spotify, the Apple Music of the world, and this new economy that you're developing?
Adapt or die.
All right. So will you force them to yield, or how are you going to?
Well, I mean, I think that they're going to be pretty resistant. I think that any kind of person that's being sort of, you know, made obsolete isn't going to be, they're going to, you know, fight back. But I think that there's some forward-thinking people, and if they don't, they literally are going to die. So they can be a part of the revolution, or they can just be a part of, you know, history and be in the dust.
Because all of your music as artists will not be broadcast on those channels, right? You're dealing directly with the consumer audience that is paying.
No.
No.
Like I have music all over, from Apple to iTunes to vinyl records to cassette tapes to SoundCloud. No, I don't go back that far, man. But yeah, the point is, you can have like rare music, which is exclusive, like access tokens, which is, like say a rare 45 and only 100 made in Japan, like a Prince record or something, like that digitally. You know what I mean? It's like you're giving your fans that content. They're going to support it. They're probably going to pay more, and it's going to be worth probably more off market when people are trading it. It's just like Prince 45.
So basically, you're talking about putting the master recording up in a blockchain situation where people can actually.
You don't put it in the blockchain.
Well,
like,
as the contract about that.
Yeah.
Master file.
So, like for instance, like the DJ Pepe is just a SoundCloud private link that we've obviously, I hate saying this word, obfuscated the private link. It changes all the time.
Right. Okay.
So that hopefully will get more advanced. We're still in baby steps of that.
Yeah.
But so if these techies out here. What's up, y'all? If y'all can make that happen, holler at me, DJ. Yep. Yeah, so there's that, and then there's also the case of just, I want to earn Ethereum, I want to earn an XCP, I want to earn Bitcoin, whatever. So I just gonna sell the same songs I have on iTunes, SoundCloud. I'm an independent artist. I've had deals with record labels. I can't sell that music, right? But the music that I put out independently, all day. I put it out through everything. And why don't I earn some crypto? Because I've been a part of crypto for a while, and I've seen my Ethereum go from 80 cents to $1,400. So it makes sense.
Sure, got it. Casey, how much are you gonna sell the song for?
Ooh, haven't decided yet. And
or what's gonna?
There's talk that don't even have to charge necessarily, because of the way it works, there are various options at the minute. Because there is talk. I know there was talk, wasn't there, about like a consumption burn model as well, whereby every time anything of mine is played or streamed, it burns the tokens. It burns the rest of the tokens I have. It burns the tokens, so there will be less and less tokens. So basically, the more popular I am in terms of being watched, the rarer my tokens become, and then they become an asset, the actual token, because they're connected to. But they will still have the function that they get equal rewards on them. But I'm not sure. I'm not that into like the trading part of it.
Hold on. This is a completely dynamic and interesting new business model for an artist that you're making money by your popularity. So if you're saying that your tokens get burned and there's less and less of them, they become more and more valuable, that's great, because that's invisible to the audience.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, and it does. So in theory, that's great, because you want people like to listen to your music. And to be honest, like, people listen to music. I do it all the time. I just listen to people's SoundCloud. I don't go and download the song. I just listen to it by SoundCloud every time I want to hear it. When I could just go and download it, but then you just don't. Half the time, there's loads of acts that I love. I still haven't got around to downloading their album yet, even though if they were in front of me, I'd be like, can I please buy your album? But then I just listen to it. And so if listening to it creates value, that's great. But at the same time, there's the traditional option of selling it for a certain amount of money, but because I'm aware that the people that bought the tokens, I want to honor that, and I want to make it work in the best way that I can, because they make it possible for me. Yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of rare. I don't want to be rare. I don't want my tunes to be rare at all. I want, in theory, I want to make them as accessible. Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. Popular, extremely popular. And so I want the most people possible to be able to listen to them and have access to them. And obviously, because of it's not going to be as necessarily as straightforward or easy for people to necessarily find me than if it was like a big record label in the traditional way, advertising in the traditional way. But I'm all right with that, because none of this is traditional, and I like this. I like this.
We're actually going to talk back about the whole marketing, artist and repertoire and stuff like that, because I think that's an important aspect. But first, do we have anybody in the audience with a question? Yes, ma'am.
Seems very relevant to the what are you doing to build your audience introduction?
So I do a lot of different things to educate people about blockchain. I do it through my music. Sometimes I have, a song that has a reference to it, or the Silk Road song. I use that as an educational point. I also have my podcast, so I'm doing a lot of that and public speaking. But as far as actual interaction with the token, it's been very, very challenging, because it was like we had a car with no roads, and I didn't even know that I would need roads. So you could kind of get around with your token like a clunky jalopy kind of way, but it's not comfortable. It's not something you want to do all the time. And so we built the platform, and it took a really, really long time to do it. But realistically, like, oh yeah, it's awesome, go try it out. Not so much. I mean, I funded my album with it, and I've used it as a way to sort of promote things. But in terms of its actual utility, it's impossible to do it at this point without a platform and without the rest of the ecosystem being more developed. Because you know, when I created Tatiana Coin, the goal was, yeah, okay, we ended up making Token.fm and Tokenly is the parent company. But the goal is you can take your token and you can go to any platform. If we end up being like the next Facebook, you should be able to take your fans, i.e. token holders, and go somewhere else. And that was really important to
How many
us.
fans do you have?
I don't know. Millions all around the world. Throwing their underwear wherever.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question? Do you think, given how these things have developed over the years, if Ethereum, in the way that you can make tokens on Ethereum now, existed back then with all the roads that have been built around it and amassed all the things that make it easier to use, do you think, in retrospect, would you do that? I don't know exactly what I'm asking, but would you do that then, now?
Are you saying would you do it DIY or would you go to a platform?
No, well, we didn't. So when we did it, Ethereum had come out like a few months before, and we looked at all the platforms. We were looking at Mastercoin as well, and then we ended up with Counterparty. What ended up being a real pill in the long term, I actually think we made 100% the right decision at the time. Nothing else was like as advanced as Counterparty. But then, you know, months ago, when all the fees were up, it became completely untenable to use Tatiana Coin because Tatiana Coin, let's say I'm selling it for 5 cents, a Bitcoin transaction fee is $30, so that completely destroyed the whole thing, which is quite disappointing, as you can imagine. Now that we've got Lightning Network implementations, you know, that's cool. But for us, the platform itself is all about being platform agnostic. So we have ERC20 tokens, we also have Counterparty tokens, and all different, like our goal is to have as many options available and have interoperability between them.
What's the market cap of the Tatiana Coin?
Oh, I don't know. I don't do that. It's nothing. It's not like anything that anyone would brag about.
What about DJ Pepe?
DJ Pepe market, I don't know. It's in probably millions of dollars. Yeah.
That's what's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody would ever sell fucking DJ Pepe, so I don't think there's no market.
It's so rare.
Yeah.
Auto. Oh wait. Oh, sorry. We have a question. Wait, you were going to say something. Or question?
Go ahead. Question.
Say it.
As you're saying, it's a decentralized platform, and then you said all the funds come through the platform and go on to create, you know, terror projects to shut that down. So,
one of the ways that we talk about our platform in terms of decentralization is a code structure, which is centrally organized, decentralized entity, which sounds a bit oxymoronic. But the idea is the technology is still very new. It's in its infancy. And so this dream of a fully decentralized platform is only going to be realized pragmatically over time. So what we need to do is we need to slowly build towards this place we want to arrive at. This fully decentralized place with a governance structure where everything can be managed by the community is where we want to wind up. But I don't think we could do that right now and have it be workable. When we look at something like the DAO, it was a great, well-intentioned platform, but of course it didn't exactly pan out correctly in practice. So we have to be responsible and pragmatic with where the technology is now as we build towards this fully decentralized future. So decentralization is an overarching journey. It's not something we can arrive at right away.
If I could add to that, we also struggled with some challenges about what part is decentralized, what part isn't, and whatnot. And to be practical and to actually have people want to use your stuff, to be a blockchain, you know, Nazi about it, it's not going to really get you anywhere. It's just you're not like we're just not there yet in this space, and it really does require some planning. I mean, it's very nice to be like, decentralize all the things, except that you can't really build something, at least not initially, without some sort of drive. That's why we wanted to solve it with like, okay, leave our platform. That would be the option. But yeah, I want to support the difficulty in doing it completely like that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just, so for the artists, I guess in the music space, the deal for users of music is pretty sweet right now, right? Like you pay $10 a month and you get whatever you want on a streaming platform. So like the consumer side, it seems like it's a pretty good deal. And I understand on the content producer side, you're the ones kind of getting, you're at the mercy, you're the ones like giving up the value in terms of that. So I understand the desire to like tokenize and sell artists or art revenue. And I guess my question would be, what aspect would you like from a platform that would help you build your audience, help compensate for like giving up rights? Just be on a platform that's like ubiquitous. So like what things should platforms be doing to help you make up that reach and you know get that they're missing out on being on like
Well, we're paying, like, our model is to pay artists to announce census stream and then to charge the same $10, but just sort of distribute it differently. So that's sort of our approach.
So it's $10 paid in crypto. Or $10 paid in dollars.
I don't think about it.
Oh,
They can
okay.
pay whatever it doesn't, that's not our,
Okay.
we want to take credit for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's meant to.
Spotify is the worst out of all of them. Like, does anybody listen to Spotify?
No.
Like, I bet you there's more DJ Pepe holders.
Hell no.
Seriously, like they don't pay shit. That's why people pull. Everybody's in the news pulling their stuff off Spotify for a reason. People are releasing albums. Like Rock Marciano from New York City just released an album, and in the first 2 weeks, he didn't let it stream. He sold it for $30 a pop. Nipsey Hussle, was selling his joint for $1,000 a pop. There's different revenue models that artists are working on. We're not there yet. Blockchain's part of it. Like, but like for me, I'm a producer. I used to get paid a lot more as a producer before streaming. It's bad for producing. All right, artists can go tour the music, but the producer and other people involved don't get the money. So there's kind of this whole problem.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm not.
Oh yeah. I got you.
What I'm saying is that like maybe it depends like artist to artist. Or are you like left out on your own, trying to curate your audience, and you put the bring audience to the table that's going to naturally want you to, or like what services are the platform responsible for bringing to say like, we're going to help you with like marketing, we're going to help you with just any of these things.
So
like,
you're saying artist discovery and.
Yeah, or like what things you can look for, or are you just saying like, I already, then it's like, you need to like have an audience, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to bring it to a platform that I can monetize that I already have this audience.
Right. I feel like if an artist has, roughly 1,000, and really, you have 1,500 fans, so 30,000 fans. If you have those fans and you put out music, then you can have an income. Like you might need a label to build yourself up to that point right now, right? But these guys and ladies are trying to make a platform where they're doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm interested in giving exclusive content to people, and then using that exclusive tokens that could be in, like, for instance, I use Counterparty right now. You can download an iTunes application that uses my DJ Pepe tokens to summon a monster in Saratoga. You can use my token to, pick up chicks. The token might be fucking useless, but if it's in your wallet and people see you have a DJ Pepe token, they're like, that motherfucker's cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's there's a whole branding thing. Like, I come from the branding angle of it and the utility angle of it. I like the idea of attribution. I like the idea of licensing, getting paid instantly, 10% here, 5% here, all that. I don't know how far we're into that yet. I give it up to everybody that's working on that, and I'm there with y'all. But like for now, what I like about tokens is that you use them in cross-platform ways, and you use them for access. So that's where I'm at. So I do art and music, so I can put all that together, like and kind of brand it. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm using blockchain to do that because I'm a retard.
Right. I'm always just very skeptical of any platform anywhere ever that no offense to anyone, but like just as a musician in my experience, in my 10+ years of doing this, sort of similar, I guess, to where you're coming from. Is like we got to help ourselves, kind of, to for the most part. Like there's nothing really anyone else can do for us. Ultimately, we just have to put in the work and do the stuff.
One additional thing is that I'd like to do this is sort of incentivize my fans to share my music. So by giving them free Tatiana coins, which gives them free music, if they share it on Twitter, like I think that that's a really good direction to sort of incentivize your own street team instead of, you know, paying some other platform. Like give the people who already support you something back for their help, put them to work.
Yeah, and to build on what Tatiana just said, I just released a video on YouTube, right? A centralized platform everybody hates.
Can't smoke.
Oh, can't smoke a Bitcoin. Yeah. Right? Now, what we did is then I made a counterparty token called Can't Smoke BTC. All right? It does nothing. Simply nothing. It does nothing. I gave them away. I made 1,000 of them. It was the first proof of share token. So all you had to do was tweet out the joint or put it on Instagram, just basically talk about it and advertise it, and you send me your counterparty wallet, and for 2 cents per transaction, because counterparty did have a problem with fees late last year when Bitcoin was popping, but literally the last 2 months, I send XCP every day, and I pay no more than 2 cents every transaction. So for $1, so far, I got about 1,200 views off of that, kind of as an experiment. Then to double on that experiment, I went to Twitter, did an ad to see, and they charge you $50. $50, I got 89 impressions. All right, so what I'm trying to say is that you got to be creative with it. I'm trying to do some creative stuff with it, and so we did that. So there's just so many different things if you're in the space that you can just try. That's where we're at. Literally, we're in an experimental stage still. If you're paying $10,000 for something or $1 for it, doesn't matter. It's all experimental. Like,
excellent. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that. Casey?
Yes, it is an experiment, and as my music is very, very precious to me, obviously I want the experiment to work in some form. But I am willing to. I recognize that when the platform's up, when the channel, whatever it's actually called, when it comes out, is there, and I'm actually putting the music out and putting the music videos and so on. How the general public interacts with that, finds it on the internet, accesses it, what they think of it, how well it works, how pleased they are, how easily they can access the music, how well it gets publicized. I don't know how that's going to go. I want it to be fantastic, and yes, so there is, from the point of view of, I have an expectation from SingularDTV that their platform and the way it functions and the way they market their platform is going to be great. So they're going to be bringing people to something. So they have there's a responsibility. Yes, all the artists that we tokenize will want that platform to be publicized. Not the individuals. I don't think it's their responsibility at all to promote all the people that use it. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. The artists themselves have to use their own abilities to market themselves in whichever way they see fit. They might go to a marketing company, but they're doing it by this way. So that's the whole point, is that the artist decides, but they're independent, they're responsible. So you've got a platform, and that's all you've got. You don't want your platform to be in a cupboard somewhere that nobody sees. You want the platform to function, but so if your platform's right in the middle of the road and it's all shiny and all whistles, and you're put there, everyone can see you, then you have to do it yourself. And that's fair enough, and your music has to speak for itself. You have to do good quality stuff. You have to go all around promoting it, so on. And that's up to me. But when people interact with it, I'm not the technician. I haven't created it. I don't know how easy it is for people to use their fiat currency to get involved with it. How easy it is, because that's the main problem, is that people will want to do it. They'll want to, because the idea is that it's not so much focused on that. This is blockchain world. This is crypto world. And if you're into blockchain and crypto, go here. Look at these artists. It shouldn't be about that. It should be, here's a platform where there are independent artists. Every film that you see here, every piece of music, every book that you find here, the person who's made it put it there, and they are in charge of it. And so if it becomes a place where people go to find that, it's built on blockchain. It's enabled by cryptocurrencies and smart contract technology, but the stuff there has to be what people are going there for, and that's the whole beauty of it. So the more people do it, the more it's accepted. It should be that you go there like you might go to anywhere else now. And like my mum can tell her mate to go and download one of my live shows. And so she can go there with her debit card and she can go online and she can do it, and she's downloaded it, and she can watch my show loads and loads of times with her friends, and that's all good. And she doesn't even know what blockchain is.
Right, because it's
And that
just a
should be-
transactional
she-
back
that
end.
should-
I mean,
that's how it should work.
Yeah, well, one thing we have to keep remembering, this blockchain is not a magic thing. It's basically a ledger, it's a transaction management platform, it's a shared public ledger. At the end of the day, it's what we're throwing on top in terms of smart contract technology, the marketing, communications. But Tatiana, I wanted to ask, how are you managing artist promotion and discovery on Token FM? What are the plans? Are you going to just do some advertising, or how does that work?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we're in talks right now with a partner.
Okay.
So if that partnership goes forward, I'm assuming that somebody's got a plan. I'm not in charge of that.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Right.
Sorry, it's like the worst answer ever.
Skrill, how are you, like, I know you're broadcasting live on the podcast, but you're creating this whole momentum, very active. Is there anything, is that?
So John, but we're doing
John, right, yes, of course.
And shout out to Jason, he's watching. And Cynthia back there.
Okay.
I want to say something real quick to get back to this question about how the consumer.
Yeah.
He's got his head down right now. I met him in DC yesterday. Hey, so I forget his name. We met yesterday in DC. Yeah. I want to get back to your question though. Yeah, the consumer is paying $10 and has the greatest deal. I don't know how that's going to end. The only thing I can say is that I feel like artists that want to kind of break ground and are, you know, artistry takes a while to catch up sometimes to the mainstream. I think these are the artists that you're seeing, you know, around here on the blockchain space. We're not, I don't know, like, it's kind of different. You know what I mean? Like we all have music on those platforms as well, but we're kind of forward thinking, like, and yeah, there's no way you know, $10 a month at a platform, you get any music you want. Right now, the blockchain's not solving that problem at all. So.
I guess the only reason I got the question up is I don't think it's like insurmountable. I think the real, like your point, like if you have like 1,500 or 3,000 or 5,000 like really hardcore followers, that's the main hurdle you have to cross. And people who are like buying your music and valuing your art and like paying for it. So my main question is like, there's this like awesome concept of being able to sell the record to your followers, but I just feel like the missing piece is a little bit of potentially. I don't know the platform because it's not, but like this little gap of being able to like help curate and like build that audience, about being able to help build the following, so like the artist isn't like forced to shoulder that burden.
Yeah, well, I think that's what these guys are doing with Token FM and platforms like that. You know, that's what all the platforms are doing. And the artists are obviously the network effect. They're gonna preach that platform, etc. I myself, platforms. I like them all. I mean, like for instance, get back to that Can't Smoke a Bitcoin promotion I did. Super Rare guys over here, John, helped me set up. I sold. So me and Emoji Nakamoto put together an art piece where I drew a picture of Peter Schiff, who's a famous gold bug, and he's talking about how you can't smoke a Bitcoin and seashells are worth more than Bitcoin. And so that was like the audio meme. That's kind of what it is. Like I'm doing audio memes, and basically you don't make any money on YouTube. So then we made a rare digital GIF, only 5 issued, and we put it on Super Rare. And it's digital art, and you can buy that. And yeah, maybe you can put it on the screen. It's there's only 3 left, so people are actually supporting it. So that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm giving something for free, but then I'm putting something I'm selling for a couple $100 or whatever the market society to pay for it, and that's helping me fund more of these audio memes. You know what I mean?
Roll down all the way.
And that's on Ethereum, and my original thing was on Bitcoin. So, you know, maybe SingularDTV, I'll do something with them. You know, I already have some Token FM as well. So, like platforms, you can be, you know, you don't have to be a traveler.
Bottom right.
Right. All right.
It should move. I don't know why it's not moving. Oh, slow.
Alright. That's interesting.
So I drew that, and then Emoji used a deep neural network thing where he created. You'll see like the trippy background come up in a second. But on a normal computer, it works. If you join my Telegram group, I can show you.
That's great. You know, yeah, sure.
That doesn't matter. Like, if you have an infinite amount of possibilities, like, at that point, it doesn't matter anymore, and you're looking for an experience. And I think that's something that you guys haven't talked about yet, is not just monetization, like, having someone who pays for it, like, put all this time and energy, like, establishing a connection. And I think that's something that this allows you to do, is establish a connection. I don't want to just control it. You now have access to the super below it. And I think that's why this matters. But I also am not a musician, so I can be totally wrong.
I think I think that's really that's very important to me, because I've realised that by tokenizing, because it is directly linked to the music as well. So the people who bought the tokens, I've asked them, they can come forward to me if they want to, and some have. So some haven't, and and a few haven't. So and like now they get special treats, through I send them things and email stuff, and because it's so nice. Like it's such a lovely thing that the person that's they believe in you, they see me and they believe in, they want to help me.
So,
but then I get to connect with them.
Can you automate that with a smart contract? All of that interaction? Can you somehow like maybe give somebody the feeling they're directly talking to you and you're directly
the bot.
Thank you.
You get a little picture.
I don't think there's any way to replicate my special attention in any way on the
Google special attention.
I agree completely in that regard. But when it comes to sort of this question about artists building direct relationships with their fans, I highly recommend the book The Art of Giving by Amanda Palmer. She's one of my favorite artists. I think probably a big reason why this space makes so much sense to me. But with blockchain, with smart contracts, being able to give to your artist, watching your value go from your wallet to theirs. Right now you have to look at it on a block explorer, so maybe it's still a little bit nerdy, but it is still like putting $1 in the hat of the musician who's playing out in the park. It is that direct a relationship, just on a global and digital scale, which is something really tremendous. And as I'm not somebody who makes music, but as somebody who likes music, and with something like Amanda Palmer particularly, I love the sense that can give directly to her, and that me purchasing her music will allow her to create more of the stuff that I love.
Sure, yeah, I mean, so, I harp on this tokenization thing, but I imagine imagine owning one of Amanda Palmer's songs, like imagine owning the copy of the song that she deems to be the original of that song. So many copies can exist, but this one, thanks to the scarcity provided by the blockchain, is your copy that you own, and you were able to pay her for.
That's like what Farmer Bro did with Wu-Tang.
Right.
Essentially.
Exactly. That's the most
rare amount. Right?
You could give that person like the 320 version of that, and give everybody else the 128, 192 version.
That's the master recording. You had a question?
Yeah. This got touched on very briefly, but I'm curious about how tokens might be kind of like a scaled up, or what the potential might be, not to just support artists, but to branch out into artist-run spaces. And that being such an important ecosystem that we all operate in, and I mean music spaces and visual art spaces. And I mean, there's one platform called like Elena, which is doing this, which is very new. And
That's a great question. We have a very good answer.
Very good, maybe not. So having an asset and having a song or an artwork that you tokenize it seems pretty established. How to do that for an art collective like we are, or a space, that's something I think we can all work together to try to figure out.
Or a festival.
Yeah, or a festival.
Yeah.
Tokenize the festival.
You can do that.
Absolutely.
There's no question. You have a mobile wallet, you scan it. You don't have the token, you don't get it. It's that simple.
Yeah, so events, spaces, there is an answer, and that's what the after party is for, talking about that.
So it's conceivable that these things will be interrelated, the artist brand. I mean, we still have yet to see, I'm not saying that your work is, we still have yet to see the effect like a Michael Jackson in this space, you know, because that would really be the big tell. So hopefully we're sitting around this table right now.
There's some big time artists that are looking at this.
They are, okay. Is that what okay, great. So look, we've got 28 seconds. Does anyone have a question? Besides who's got a split. Okay, I just want to try to summarize. So basically what we heard today that tokenization of music is and collectives is actually got a few factors. It offers an opportunity for discovery of consumers to find you that these old consumers who are into Bitcoin. I mean, I think somewhere there must be tens of billions by now in the world, and I think that this is now offering artists another channel to go direct to consumers and generate income directly. The fact is that there's platforms now available to support all this, and I think that the picture is becoming clearer. And then while DJ Pepe and his crew blaze new trails in terms of R&D in this space, and Tatiana as well, and Jonathan, and Jam, Thomas, and Casey, we want to thank you for your input here. Part of the power of centralization.
If anybody wants a comp to the costume ball party on Saturday night, if you're doing hard work, or if you're feeling unappreciated, we'll appreciate you. Come talk to me afterwards.
And stick around for the Tatiana, Jonathan, Skrilla,
Casey.
We're gonna have a jam session.